Hi everyone. Um, Today is day 39 of the GAPS diet, I believe. I might have to put a correction on that later. Would it be a post if I wasn't just home from a night shift? So I'm just home from a night shift and I finally got my mom's juicer. And so I'm having some carrot juice for the first time. I've mixed it with water. I don't know. It says in the book that it's supposed to be clear, and I strained it a lot of times. Like, first, I put it through a good juicer that has a mesh, and then I strained it through just like a sieve, and then I strained it through cheesecloth inside the sieve. And it's still that level of cloudy, and that's mixed with water. So I hope I'm not messing up. But you know what the thing is, I've been finding I haven't really reacted to anything. um I don't think that I will. Like, I think the main things that I needed to cut out from my diet are cut out even on the full GAPS diet. So I guess I'll see how I feel, but so far so good. I've had a few sips of this already. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've never been a big, like, juicer person in general, or even juice drinker of like store-bought juice. um it's not my favorite. I mean, it's not terrible, it just tastes like sweet carrots, really, and I have been missing raw vegetables, so I guess there's that. But I'm more of a water drinker, and I always have been. But the biggest thing for me is that I want to get through stage 4 so that I can start introducing a little bit of fruit and raw vegetables, because I'm really excited about eventually having salads again someday. So, this is my first step towards raw vegetables. Otherwise, in stage 4, things have been going really well. I made a loaf of the GAPS bread, and I seemed to tolerate that well. I will say, um, I think it's something that I'll need to be just like aware of the amount of almonds I'm having. I didn't feel like I had like a reaction, but I almost felt like it was like a little bit dehydrating or something. Again, it's really hard for me to tell at work because even as with as much water as I try to drink, the circulated air and just how much I talk to people, I feel like it just dries me out. Um, but yeah, so for stage 4, I've been doing a lot more, like, less soups, more meals with broth on the side, because I can have roast meats now. So I've been doing quite a lot of minced up liver with mixed with like ground beef and or ground pork, and just throwing some like onion and garlic and parsley or whatever in there. And then I've made it into meatballs and cooked them in a cast iron pan in the oven, like roasted them that way. Um, and last night I did a little like meatloaf style and just put it in one pan. Um, yeah, so some are better than others. Like, I'm just winging it. I'm not following any recipes or anything. And sometimes I like don't put enough salt or whatever, but it's all fairly good. And then as I've been more into sauteing vegetables, I've just been doing sort of like sauteed cabbage with maybe some leek and onion. Um, and again, some are better than others. I'm really thinking I'm going to start roasting some vegetables soon. I mean, I guess I have been, like, I've been making squash, but I really love like roasted cauliflower and broccoli and stuff like that. And so I think I'll probably do some of that on these days off and see how I feel with that. And as I move more towards some raw vegetables, I'm really gonna try to be more into juice. I guess people have juice like as a meal in the morning. To me, it's always seemed like juice is just kind of like calories that don't fill you up. So I've just opted out of it, and like for a treat of a drink, I usually would drink coffee. Don't even get me started on how much I miss coffee. Again, I feel like I'm not, like, I've never gone through a big withdrawal from coffee, and I didn't even this time, but I miss the taste. I miss the ritual. I miss, yeah, all of it. When people are making coffee at work to get us through those last few hours, it is hard for me to ignore. I've been ignoring it. I'm not sure how much longer I will ignore it. When I'm on the full GAPS diet, I'll probably start drinking wheat coffee because I miss it, and it's good. But anyways, this is not about complaining. So anyways, despite my kind of indifference about this, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It tastes like sweet carrot. I think it's the sweetness that I don't like. Like maybe because I haven't been eating very many sweets, it tastes sweeter, which you would think I would be into, but it's just seems bizarre to me. But anyways, I'm gonna finish this and see how I feel and have a good nap and see how I feel when I wake up. I have a feeling I'll cruise through the veggie introduction portion because fiber has never really been my issue. It's been more like grains. Grains tend to be the biggest thing for me. The other thing is I still haven't added dairy back in. I originally just felt like I was gonna ferment some dairy and add it back in after maybe like 2 or 3 weeks of having it cut out. It's been, I think it's been like almost 4 weeks, like 3.5 weeks, just over 3 weeks. And I'm not chomping at the bit to add it back in. And it's not because I don't feel like it was any major improvement with cutting it out. It's just, I think I'm not struggling to not have it anymore. And so I feel like I may as well just wait to speak with my naturopath and let her guide me through adding it back in a little bit. Yeah, I I'm like can't I'm very excited at the thought of having like that nice cooked apple in stage 5 with some nice homemade sour cream. So I am gonna tell her like I want to try adding it back in, but I'm very willing to go slow about it, and see, how it makes me feel and really pay attention to my skin. I will say, like, I feel that my skin is the one area that really hasn't improved that much. But I mean, maybe it has. Some days I feel like it really has, and then other days I feel like it really hasn't changed that much at all. It's so hard for me to tell, and with something like psoriasis that tends to kind of wax and wane anyways, it's impossible for me to tell if I'm having die off or reacting to something because literally it will be like for a few hours of the day it will be itchy and look like it's getting worse, and then all of a sudden it will start clearing up. And so it doesn't, and I will be eating like the same meal throughout the day. Yeah, so I think it's very hormone and stress related as well. So, yeah, it is difficult for me to tell. I will say the one thing that I did start doing that I was hoping I wouldn't have to do is I've started using my cortisone ointment again, mostly because when it gets really itchy, that's typically when it's actually healing. But if I don't put something on it, I scratch it and then it makes it worse because with psoriasis, when you cause more inflammation, that's what causes it to like I will get a psoriasis spot if I get a cut somewhere, then psoriasis will develop there because of the inflammation process and my body getting into that cycle. And so I have to try really hard to not scratch because if I remove too much of the skin flakes, then it can cause inflammation again and just exacerbate the cycle. So I have started putting a little bit of cortisone ointment on. And I'm okay with that. I mean, that's something I've been using a lot for most of my life, and I'm only putting it on like very small areas. It's not like I'm rubbing it over my whole body. So maybe that's a cheat or something. I don't know. But it's what I'm doing for now. The other thing is, I think I did cheat kind of accidentally. Like I just kind of wasn't thinking about it. I was really, really, really super excited. I went to this health food store in Courtenay, BC, which is about half an hour from where I live, and found some sausages from Tannadice Farms that is like a local farm, pasture raised pork, and all it had in them was pork, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And so I was like, oh my God, I can eat these. I'm not going to have to try and figure out how to make my own sausages. And so then I was eating them, and then I realized, like, no, I'm not supposed to have spices until stage 5. But I still ate them because I had already cooked them all. And in the grand scheme, I felt like that was probably like a pretty small cheat, especially because I'm basically through stage 4. I've basically introduced everything except for the juicing. And I hadn't introduced the juicing simply because I don't have a juicer, and I was waiting to get my mom's juicer, which I now have, and I'm going to try and move through the juicing in the next couple of days and see how I feel. As long as I don't have any tummy reaction or feel unwell from it, which I just really don't think that I will, then in like a couple days I'll start adding lettuce and mint and other veggies like that, and then happily move on to stage 5 because I'm almost at 40 days. Which would be per my plan, which was essentially to do at least 10 days on each stage just to allow myself to introduce things slowly and allow myself time to react or not react. And I seem to be cruising through pretty much at that, like the 10 days seems to be just about right for me. That being said, again, I haven't really reacted to anything, so I haven't had to like go backwards yet. And so fingers crossed I won't have to. Fingers crossed I'll be able to just keep going on to the full gaps. Yeah. So also this afternoon, I hope if I have enough time, I'm going to try and render some lard from some pork fat that I bought at a local butcher. So if I do manage to do that, I'll add that to this video. And again, yeah, sorry, I haven't been making as frequent videos, but it's mostly just been that I don't have a lot new to say. And I feel like it's more interesting for me to have more to say per video, and do a little bit more in a day than have like short videos every day. Yeah, so if you don't like that format and you're following along and you would prefer more frequent, shorter videos, let me know and I'll take that into consideration. But this certainly works better for me in terms of just kind of keeping my life moving along. Things get hectic and busy. My great aunt is in the hospital right now and things like that. So it's just easier for me to kind of focus on this when I have some time and can put some thought and energy into it. But please give me feedback because I am doing this for my own accountability, but I also think it's nice if people that are trying to do a similar journey have something to check in with. So I take your feedback seriously. I hope everyone is doing well out there, and I'll touch base when I'm awake after my nap and can hopefully be making some rendering some lard. Hello again. So I had a good nap and did not have time to make lard because I didn't get back out of bed until 6 because I didn't get in bed until like 12:30. So it was a big morning. I was running around making costumes for Halloween that's coming up. So instead of making lard, I thought I would just show you a little bit of kind of like a typical what I've been eating lately, which in here is sauteed cabbage, onion, garlic, and then some of the meatloaf. I just like broke it up that I had made, but in the meatloaf, sorry, that's hard to see there. In the meatloaf is I'm just gonna say beef, pork, and liver, but just know that every kind of meat that I eat is like pasture raised local farms, and I got it from my friend's farm. And onion, garlic, parsley, salt, and then I've added into it some avocado, sauerkraut, and some other fermented vegetables that actually have like some ginger and stuff in it, which adds a really beautiful flavor. Yeah, so that's kind of what I So it's kind of a classic meal that I've been eating and taking to work with me. And then a side of broth with that. So I will just close it there for today and update you again in another week or so, or maybe when I'm actually going to do the lard, which might be tomorrow or the next day. Okay, hope everyone is doing well out there.